Hi there, good afternoon. Greetings from beautiful Thailand. So I'm not going to say which island this is, kind of in the spirit of the topic of the video, but many of you will easily guess because I have posted other videos from this island. But I thought that I would address a topic that certainly has come to mind at various times in the course of my career as a YouTuber and professional traveler. The reality of being a part of the tourism industry and promoting places as a result, even though it isn't the focus of my job, I'm just documenting my travels and putting them on YouTube, which first started basically just as a video photo album before I even knew that I could make money on YouTube, going back 14, 15 years ago. And then I just kind of kept doing it and it turned into my job. So it is an ultimate job, and certainly one that comes with some responsibility to some extent. To what extent is extremely debatable, and that will be kind of the topic of this video. But are travel vloggers ruining the world? Now, the kind of obvious answer to that is no. There are a lot of things that are affecting the world in many ways, but the kind of underlying point of the question is, are travel vloggers and social media influencers in general having an effect on places around the world? And the obvious answer to that would certainly be yes. So, my decision to make this video now is a result of something that happened yesterday. So I'll tell really quick what happened yesterday. I was waiting for the boat coming here. I had a little time. I sat down on the beach, got my phone out, logged into Instagram, was reading some messages, and I had a new message from somebody who I hadn't corresponded with previously. The message said, "Your video of another island nearby was nice, but we don't want it promoting the island. Could you please delete it?" So I thought quite a bit about whether to respond and how to respond, and the thing is that, number one, I wasn't going to delete the video. And if I was going to respond, then it would have to be a very detailed response, basically like a whole article, which is what this video is about. And so this video is the response to that. And so ultimately I decided to just delete the message. No point in opening up that topic really when I'm just going to say no, and then trying to explain the whole thing, would be very time consuming. And so 15 minutes or so later, then it's time to go catch my boat. I grab my backpacks and walk along the pier. Somebody comes along on a motorbike and slows down and says, "Hey." And so I assume that it's a viewer. I say, "Hey, what's going on?" And then he stops, and then he has kind of a serious look on his face, and then within a couple of sentences I realize, oh, I think this is the guy that sent me the message on Instagram. I'm not 100% certain because I didn't look closely at the picture, but I think it must have been. And so he kind of segues into, "I've seen some of your videos. I spend a lot of time here on Koh Payam, and myself and a couple other people were hoping that you would delete the video." And so pretty quickly then I just said, I'm not going to delete the video. And then we kind of discussed the topic a little bit in a more or less friendly fashion, but he was, you know, a bit kind of serious and just concerned that, you know, my video was going to help propel the greater popularity of that other island that I was on before. And certainly it will, but I think that there was a big misunderstanding about the extent to which my, not just one video, I made several videos over there, but the idea that, like, oh, we have this secret island that almost nobody knows about, and now a YouTuber with a bunch of subscribers is posting a video, and that's going to, like, just accelerate in a major way the number of visitors coming. And so I think that is where there is a misunderstanding about the effect of a video that gets, you know, my videos aren't going viral. 10 to 20,000, maybe over the course of the next few years, maybe 30,000 views or something like that. So this is a very complicated topic. There are so many different factors involved. So first, let's just say that everybody who watched my video went to that island over the course of the next, like, 5 years or whatever. If you spread, you know, 20,000 people visiting that island over the next 5 years or something, you would barely even notice that, right? Over 5 years, and that's like 4,000 people per year, 365 days a year. And so you're talking about an extra, like, you know, 10 to 20 people a day. Well, people will stay a few days. So if everybody who watched the video said, okay, we're going to this island, then even that would be kind of negligible. But of course, everybody who sees that video is not going to book a flight to Thailand and then go to that specific island. It's going to be a teeny tiny fraction of the number of people who actually watch that video. Like, probably just dozens. And so the, like, direct effect of my videos on the tourism on that particular island, it's just so small. Now, there is the collective effect of all of the many different factors involved, and so that's kind of what I want to get into. The other people posting videos. So if you search for the name of that island, you will find a number of other videos with, I looked and they had a bit less views than mine, but almost in kind of the same range. And so those are going to be one factor in an island getting more popular. But then there are people who visit the island, have a nice time, go back home, post photos on Facebook. Maybe they have hundreds of friends or thousands of friends, and a few of those people might decide, oh, that looks like a great place to go the next time I go to Thailand. Okay, let's put that on our list. And then, of course, people posting on Instagram, and there is just the whole tourism industry. So when I was in Bangkok, I was trying to get down here. It's a long ways, it's out of the way, which is one of the reasons why these islands aren't overcrowded. Look at this beach. I can see like 2 people way down there. This is the nicest beach on the island. And so I completely understand the concern of people who enjoy these islands and don't want them to become Koh Phangan, Koh Samui, Koh Phi Phi, Phuket, etc. But back in Bangkok, when I was there on Khao San Road, then I was looking for transportation options to get down here. And at the tourist offices there on Khao San Road, they offer a direct bus and boat package that will get you all the way here in one shot. A long bus ride down the peninsula of Thailand, and then a boat out here in the list of islands. So Koh Tao, Koh Phangan, Koh Samui, Koh Phi Phi, you know, how to get to these places. And then these islands are mentioned in that list as well. So in other words, it is no secret. It is known. It is being promoted in Bangkok in various ways and in lots of other places. So for me to be expected to remove my video, my work, but money is not like the most important thing. So I could take an easy way out here and say, well, what I'm doing is of the benefit of local people. I'm traveling, spending my tourist dollars, and then additionally with my YouTube channel, then I'm promoting places, I'm encouraging people to come here, spend money that goes to real people, locals, of course, some to locals, some to corrupt government officials, some to rich people in other places, etc. But some of that money is certainly going to local people and supporting their livelihoods. So I could just say, well, yeah, but you know, I'm supporting the country, the local places with my traveling and my content. But that is an easy way out, and that ignores the issue of, well, what about the lesser known places that should be kept to some extent as quieter places that people can go to who are looking for that? And so I acknowledge that difference. Now, let's go back in time. The first time that I visited Santorini Island, Greece, was in 1990. Now I can go back more than 30 years later and say, whoa, man, this place has exploded. It is so touristy. It is increasing the prices like crazy. It's a big crowd trying to watch the sunset on the crater's rim, etc. Meanwhile, somebody who was there back in, say, 1970 could have arrived in 1990 and say, man, Santorini is so popular and touristy now. You know, they could see that change 20 years later from 1970. You know, tourism around the world as far as international traveling really didn't begin until like the 1960s, right? Not a lot of people traveling internationally, you know, Americans going to Europe in like the early 20th century, the 1920s or whatever. Lack of easy transportation, a big, long, expensive boat ride, or flights. I mean, when did commercial flights even really begin in that capacity? And then the Great Depression, and then World War II, and then people are, you know, recovering from the war in the 1950s, and then in the 1960s, then hippies are curious to expand their horizons and explore and experience adventures and start going to India, Nepal, and the Middle East and Europe, etc. And so imagine somebody who went to Santorini in 1970 and then goes back in 1990 and can see this big change. That was, of course, before the internet, before social media. That is the case pretty much everywhere around the world because of a whole bunch of factors. Population increase is a big one, just more people on the planet. But also, a major one is the ease of traveling, that you can now easily fly over the oceans. Prices of flights have become much more accessible to average people. The more that people go to places and tell their friends and family, oh, this place was nice, then the more people get the idea, oh, yeah, I'd like to go see somewhere new and different and interesting and exotic. for my vacation instead of just going somewhere close by. And so this is a trend that is just happening, and the internet and social media is one part of that. But asking a YouTuber to delete their video just isn't going to make any difference. If I knew that my videos were like everywhere I went, if I went back a year later, like there was going to be a lot more people traveling there because of my video, then I would be more careful and selective about where I'm posting videos of. And in fact, I have done this. Some of you, I'm sure, have noticed a few places around the world, in Greece and Hawaii, where I chose not to reveal where I was because I didn't want to be helping to promote it. In particular because they were like super secret places where even just a few more people would have an effect on it. Whereas these islands are much less popular than other islands, but they are still quite well known. One of the main reasons why they aren't so popular is simply because it is a challenge to get here. And that will remain the case regardless of, people recommending it and posting about it on social media. And so I can't agree to permanently erase all of the videos that I've made of these places simply because somebody who is also a tourist there wants to try to minimize the other people coming there, when that just isn't gonna stop the tide, the greater popularity, which I'm sure is happening on that island. As I've already mentioned, I was there 16 years ago, come back 16 years later, and I noticed the changes. They weren't as great as I thought that they might have been. Arriving at the pier, the one town looked exactly the same as I remembered it. And then as I got further into the island, then I saw more restaurants, guest houses, etc. And that's just the way it's going to go. And trying to get videos taken down from YouTube isn't going to stop that. Now, there's another whole factor here, which is that there can only be as many people in a place as there is capacity for them to stay there. In other words, beds, hotel rooms. You could have 50,000 people want to go there, but then if they look online and there's no accommodation, they're going to change their plans. Point being that ultimately the responsibility is on the local people, developers, builders, those making the decisions about how much development are we going to allow on the island, how many building permits are we going to issue for new hotels, etc. Because islands can decide, okay, we don't want too much growth here, so let's just pull back on the construction and keep it as it is, or just control the growth so that it doesn't get to that point that we don't want to get to, of being completely overrun with tourists. And so that is up to the local people. Of course, maybe not the regular motorcycle taxi driver or whatever, but local people in general, the officials. It's really ultimately on them to determine the fate of a particular place. So I'm just not going to erase my hard work that I put into creating the video, and also essentially remove a photo from my photo album, because this YouTube channel is my job. It is making me money, but I'm not going to say, therefore, you know, I have to do this to support myself. So I don't care what the effects are. I do want to keep in mind the effects. But this is my journal. This is my video photo album of my adventures that I want to look back on. Hopefully as long as, you know, YouTube keeps the videos up there for a while, as long as I can, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you know, show the videos to friends or family, look back on old times, etc. And so I'm not going to erase that simply out of the kind of misguided efforts of somebody who is wanting to minimize the tourism in a place. So there you go, long story long there, but if I was going to get into the topic, then I wanted to kind of address it properly. It certainly is something that I keep in mind, is the fact that I am having some sort of effect on the places that I go, but I'm no Anthony Bourdain or, you know, the in-flight magazine of a major airlines, a much more prominent and influential person or organization or whatever that can have a greater impact on places. I am a medium-sized YouTuber getting tens of thousands of views to my videos, which is not something that is going to like cause a place to just blow up with tourism because I went there and posted a video or two or three. Okay. We have arrived at the temple. So I'm filming another video that is going to involve exploring around a bit more. I'm not going to put the link down below because then that would reveal the island that I'm on when I decided, okay, with this video, then I'm just gonna keep it a secret. But many of you will have come across the other videos. So anyways, one way or another, more coming from Thailand. See ya.